It's a song that has reminded people, oh yeah, I really like this meal. I'm going to go back to that restaurant and have that meal again.
Another career-defining
Yeah,
song
but the chefs
from
have like
Incubus.
tweaked it a little bit. They like a little different salt. Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Boyd.
And I'm Mike Einziger.
We're from the band Incubus, and this is 5 songs that have defined our career. Gosh, Mike, what are the 5 songs that have defined our career?
That's really hard.
It's a tough question. We've written like 160 songs.
It's more like a fan question.
Sort of. If we could be so bold as to answer the question ourselves, I suppose.
And we will be so bold.
Let's
you
be bold.
Watch. Okay, go.
I'll start. I suppose one of 5 songs that have defined our career. There's a song from an album in 1999. The album's called Make Yourself, and the song is called The Warmth. And it was never a single, but for some reason, if we don't play it in our set, it feels like something's missing. And that's kind of a way that I've learned if we have created sort of an essential Incubus song, if it feels like it's missing and when we don't play it. And The Warmth is definitely one of those songs. It continually has such a beautiful reaction with audiences all over the world, and I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, hopefully they're not lying to me, the whole audience forever.
Yeah. So I'm gonna also choose another song from Make Yourself, a song called Pardon Me. It was kind of, I think, a lot of people's first, like on a larger scale, first introduction to Incubus as a band. Mm-hmm. And it was really us trying to kind of make sense of all of our sort of different influences that were influencing us, particularly at that time. We were really discovering all of this really cool new drum and bass music that was coming from the UK to the US. And we were also we also like rocking out really hard. So it was kind of like a collision of drum and bass and like rock music in a way that on paper probably sounds like it wouldn't work, and maybe to certain people maybe it still doesn't work, but it worked for us at the time. So the song Pardon Me is definitely kind of the result of that. And I think that definitely, helped define us and certainly charted our pathway forward from that point on.
I like that we're moving kind of chronologically, because then we can move on to the album that came after Make Yourself. It's called Morning View. And I think there are a bunch of songs that sort of help define our career on that album, but I'll pick one. It's called Wish You Were Here. And it was a single and ended up being a really kind of big single for us. It came out at a really, really weird period of time in not just sort of like American history, but world history. We had written this album, we recorded it, we were about to put out this single, Wish You Were Here, and the World Trade Centers in New York were attacked. So we were in New York on 9/11, and we were like actively starting to promote Morning View, and then it felt like the whole world was falling down. And we had 2 sold-out concerts in New York City on, I think it was the 14th and the 15th of September. And it was likely that they were going to go away, those shows, just because of the circumstances. But we ended up playing, and that song is sort of forever locked away in my memory bank as being sort of like a moment of lightness in an otherwise really kind of like dark period of time. And it seemed like it had that effect on audience as well, as we like took the song and we released it, and people seemed to be enjoying it, and then we kind of kept playing it at this point ad nauseum. We haven't not played it at a concert since then. So once again, it's like one of those things where if it don't play that song at a show, something feels like it's missing. Almost every single song that we've ever written has had that kind of effect with me. I think that I'm writing about one thing, and then it ends up sort of, I discover many years later that it's probably about something else. And I think that's only possible as a reflection and the way that the music is reflected through an audience, through like listeners' ears.
I know we're kind of going chronologically, but I'm gonna skip backwards a little bit and just go back to the song Drive. It's continued to be a career-defining song for us. Put that song out in 1999 on our album Make Yourself, and it kind of like, we made a lot of progress prior to Drive being released as a single, but we had all this sort of momentum and really connecting with our audience. And then Drive came out and kind of like really made a huge impact at the time. Because it was also a really different kind of song for us. You know, like there's no heavy guitar, it's not aggressive, it's a much more sort of introspective kind of mellow song. And I think also we had to prove to ourselves that like we could write music like that. Like I think like heavy music, aggressive music, I think like it has a tendency to like in a way can kind of box you in to certain like oh, you can't do this kind of music or you can't do that kind of music, and we weren't really, I think, consciously even thinking about that, but it was almost
a
like,
stretch for us.
yeah,
at that point.
like after the fact, it was kind of like, oh yeah, it was like something that we definitely like took a chance doing that. At least it felt like it in a way, and people really connected with it. I mean, we really connected with it at the beginning, so that's all the sort of validation that we needed. But then seeing the way people reacted to it was kind of a big deal for us. So I think it would be impossible to talk about our band without talking about the song Drive. And then, you know, here we are 20 something years later, and you know, there was a TV show called Beef series on Netflix a couple years ago that was hugely successful, and that song made an appearance in the show in a very sort of visible way. And it kind of all came roaring back, like as like a reminder, like this thing that we wrote decades ago, like is still relevant in a totally new way that we never could have anticipated. And yeah, music is really big like that. Like it's a big place, and it like has potential to reach people all over the world, not only across like geographies, but also across like time, you know, like over years and decades. So that's, yeah.
I'm wondering, and you can just stop me if I'm being too bold, but I'm just going to project into the future for a moment. And there's so many songs in sort of what we've written together over the years. It's really hard to sort of consolidate it down into just 5 that would be career defining.
Let's pick a new career defining song.
That's what I was going to do.
2025.
2025. So our number 5 pick for our career defining song is the first single from our new record. It's called Something in the Water. I'm going to project into the future a little bit. It's a song that has reminded people, oh yeah, I really like this meal. I'm going to go back to that restaurant and have that meal again.
Another career defining
song. But the chefs have like tweaked it a little bit. They like put a little different salt on it. It tastes
Salt Bae.
It tastes really good. It reminds me of what I ate before, but somehow newer and fresher and better. So can you taste it?
Truffle salt.
A little truffle salt? Yeah, anyway, that's my answer.